You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
I'm Katrina, and I love anime.
I'm Steven, and I'm aware of anime.
But what if that affection could rub off?
Perhaps that excitement in her eyes got me curious.
I could offer up some solid anime.
I could give them a watch, just to see what all the fuss is about.
And maybe, just maybe,
I could learn to love anime too.
welcome to Inspired by a Weeaboo. Hello and welcome back, my little weebs. Welcome back to Inspired by a Weeaboo. I am your host, Katrina, and with me is my husband, Steven.
What up?
We just finished episode 29 of Fullmetal Alchemist. This one always gets me in the feels, this one and the next one. But Steven, what did you think?
In the feels. I didn't
Yes.
feel nothing. All right.
Oh, well, damn.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure things out because something's amiss here, and I don't understand what's going on. So,
Okay.
when they start the episode, we're right back where we left them on the island,
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking about the boy, and then they start arguing and shit for no reason because I thought we had this argument already in the last episode, and it didn't seem like a retread either. It's like they just circle back around to the same argument. Anyway, the boy used alchemy,
Mm-hmm.
and when Ed attacks to, I don't know why he felt the need to attack the boy, but when he lunged after him and the boy fights back, boy turned his arm into stone, which is a new trick.
Mm-hmm.
And then he blows his clothes off.
Yeah, basically like his alchemy kind of fritzes out for
And turns
a
his
minute.
clothes into leaves.
Yep.
So the teacher walks up and is like, "What the hell did you do?" And he's like, "I don't know." So she checks on the boy, and then it seems like they have some sort of a kinship. Now, there's something I'm thinking about this too. And I was thinking it then, and then I lost track of it, but now I'm starting to come back around to it, and now I'm thinking about it, but we'll get to it. But she starts talking to the boy, trying to ask questions, and he's just like, doesn't really say much, and then she kind of comforts him, and the boy seems pretty into the comfort, which is why I kind of raised an eyebrow. And so they take the boy home, and they just feed the shit out of him, just like cramming food all up in his mouth, because he ate a lot.
I mean, he was cramming the food in his mouth. She was just watching him affectionately.
Mm-hmm. But he ate a lot. Meanwhile, the brothers are just hanging out on the roof talking to Winry, just talking about how the experience went, but still feel like the teacher's never going to fully forgive them for what they did. And that just pissed Winry right off. She was about to go down there and give her a piece of her mind. And they was like, "What are you, stupid? No, don't. You saw that she's damn near killed us. Don't do that." But they explained that they had time to reflect on it, and they just, it's all good. It'll be fine. They'll persevere, and the teacher has their best interest at heart. So as night falls and everybody's sleeping, especially the husband who sleeps with his eyes open, apparently, that was creepy. Ed and Al decide. It was just like messed up.
Just talk about that though.
Okay.
Because he, as we've described and as our weebs should know if they've seen this anime, he is a very large man. And I'm not talking like large, like, like fat or anything, which I feel like that's,
Irrelevant.
yes. Like, no problem with bigger people. I'm a bigger person. But anyway.
I used to be too.
He did. He lost so much weight. He looks so good. I love you. Anyway. He's a very, like, Major Armstrong, very large, muscular man, even though you have not seen his muscles yet. But he is a very large man. very, very large man.
Yeah.
And his wife is very, very small. Kind of tall, but, very skinny.
Petite.
So this man, yes, petite. This man is laying in bed, snoring, and eyes wide open. And his wife is just like daintily curled up next to him. And it is like so precious. Like she's just laying there with a smile on her face. Like it does not bother her whatsoever that she's sleeping next to a freaking sawmill.
Yeah. It's creepy looking damn sawmill.
But he's such a big, like, lovable teddy bear. I love him so much.
Anyway, as he is creepily sleeping, the boys are sneaking through the house trying to get to the other little boy. Brothers are trying to get to the boy. Boy didn't have a name. That would have helped. At least I didn't hear it. Though, so they kind of do alchemy through the floor. She hit something. That's what happened.
I don't know.
Take that as you talking. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, they alchemy through the floor because picking a lock would be stupid. And they knew it.
It would have been stupid because she used alchemy to lock the door.
Exactly.
So she would know it.
That's why they said it was stupid.
Yes.
So they alchemy through the floor, which is what they should have just done to begin with. They should have known. And this boy is wired. I don't know what they fed him, but boy, he was bouncing off the walls and like chasing mice and shit. And then he grabbed the mouse and was like going all Lenny on it. Like, this is my friend. This is my friend. I'm going to squeeze it hard. And I was expecting that head of the mouse to explode. Thankfully, it didn't because Ed was like, you're going to have to put that down. And chases the boy. And then the boy goes over on the bed, squeezing the mouse even harder until he ropes his legs together with alchemy. Mm-hmm. And drops him on his head. Not the mouse. The mouse ran away and got saved. But Ed was also like, I kind of know this kid, and he can't quite figure it out. And the boy starts to freak out, and he's trying to get him to use alchemy because he knows he saw him use alchemy. And he's like, I know you can do this, so just do what you did and get out of the ropes. And I'm not quite sure the boy realizes that he does what he does. That's the thing about this kid. Like I know he can use it, but I don't think he realizes. It's like an infant with a flamethrower. You give it to him, and they're just gonna press the button, and they see the fire, and they're just like, "Oh shit!" And they probably didn't even push it on purpose. They just did it, and so they start burning everything, thinking that that's just what it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that was perfectly said.
Exactly. So the boy uses alchemy eventually and turns him in, like, I guess he becomes part bed.
Yes, he transmutes the bed and his body together.
Yeah, and it's not as horrific as you'd think. I mean, they could have really turned that into something god-awful. I'm surprised they didn't, because some of the stuff we've seen on this show, it'd have fit right in.
Yeah.
But no, it was more like his torso... or bed to the torso, and then the bed was all like twisted up like a tree. And they're just making all this noise, which I'm surprised the teacher didn't run down there sooner, but she finally bursts in and be like, what the shit? I'm trying to sleep. And she sees the situation. The boy is crying, and she snaps him. She's like, stop! Silence. The boy is quiet. And then she puts on her happy face. It's the funniest thing because it's like stern and then motherly, all in one turn. So she helps him get out of the bed situation by giving him just some basic, what did you look like? And then, ta-da, he's back to normal, sort of. And then she turns on the boy. It's like, what the fuck are you doing down here? What are you doing? And Ed confesses exactly what I said, is he thinks he's a homunculi. Boom. I said, yep, that's what I thought too, buddy. So, and then we cut back to Cheska, who we haven't seen in a hot minute. And she drops in on Hugh's family and just kind of checking on him and being a big sister to the little girl. just being all nice. And then as she's exiting, she realizes that Mustang's lurking around outside.
Mm-hmm.
So he does the asshole thing and just like pushes off and laughs at her when she falls on her face. But then, you know.
He didn't laugh at her. It was the driver.
Okay, somebody laughed. But then they circle back around and then she's like, hey, asshole, what are you doing? Just lurking outside, and he's acting like there's no big deal. But I think he's being a buddy. He's looking in. He's checking on the wife of his best friend and possibly thinking about moving in. But we don't know that. I don't know Mustang like that. I'm just saying.
How dare you
I don't know.
taint his good name with such blasphemous things. Shame.
Well,
shame.
I was just saying that we don't know. He's got his promotion. Maybe he needs a woman by his side now. There's one available with a kid.
He has a woman by his side.
Well, we ain't seen her.
We see her anytime we see him. He has Hawkeye. She's all the woman he needs.
He needs a home woman who's going to cook for him.
Bitch, you better shut up and keep talking about the show
Anyway.
in a positive light. I love you.
I love you too. So after they have their little... Cheska pretty much calls him out, saying that he's not doing any investigating into Hughes' death. And it's just like eating her ass up about it. And she's like, damn you for not doing more and whatever. And we realize...
how could it not?
I know, yeah.
He's supposed... from her viewpoint, they were supposed to be best friends. Had been best friends for a long freaking time. And then he dies... Not only dies, but is murdered, and he's murdered, and you're not doing shit about it.
So, yeah, it's kind of a low-down thing.
But, she doesn't know, obviously. He is doing his own stuff about it.
Sure, because the man is, always top secret about stuff. Don't tell shit to nobody. Just always doing secret, covert ops stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what? Cheska's also doing her own digging. She's trying to figure this shit out too. She hit a wall, even though it shouldn't have been a wall. She should have been like, that's the clue. That's the clue. She noticed the secretary, and the secretary's name showed up on this little list that she had. And then she just felt like it doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense. Just keep following that trail.
Yes.
You're getting there. You see it. Just trust your gut. But then, as we mentioned, the secretary, she shows up and she's chatting with which one?
Envy.
And they are talking about what the goals are, or what are they supposed to be doing. And this is an interesting comment she made where she was like, they were trying to keep them out of the Ishbal business.
Trying to keep Ed and Al from digging further into the Ishbal business. Yes.
So is there more details that we don't know?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because it was like, well, they already kind of know. But then that just adds a new wrinkle.
I would say to a point, yes, there's more. There's a lot more to the story with Ishbal and all that.
Gotcha. So, yeah, they were talking about that and trying to keep them on whatever path they're trying to keep them on. And then
finding the Philosopher's Stone.
Right on.
Or making a Philosopher's Stone.
Then we bounce back where Ed, Al, teacher are talking about the boy and what he could possibly be. Is he a homunculi? But then they said, well, I've never seen a homunculi use alchemy, so then maybe that kind of rules it out, so we're not 100% sure. But then they mentioned the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the gateway, I guess, is this point in between the moment you've done alchemy and then, the end of alchemy. And in this scenario of trying to bring someone back from the dead, it just, is the point between creation and death. No. Okay.
I feel like you could kind of look at it that way, but it's more about what lies beyond the gateway. Because like Edward says in this episode, it's everything, like all the knowledge you could possibly ever want to know. It's there. But there's more than just that.
And he is aware of it so much that he believes that the answer they are seeking is within the gateway. Because he was flooded with all this knowledge of any and all things, which is why he can do the alchemy without the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like his brain is now the, what do they call it?
You're talking about Chuck, aren't you?
Yeah. The intersect.
Yeah. He
got uploaded with the intersect, and now he can do kung fu with his hands. Except it's alchemy is what they're calling it. So, and we actually got to see the moment in which Ed revived Al, because when he went in, like initially, why he lost his arm and his leg. Now we get to see the precise moments as to why. So the equivalent exchange of seeing the mom cost him his leg. Getting his brother back cost him his arm. And it's all about how that kind of traded off. And he spoke to this gate about equivalent exchange. Like he talked to it like that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Which I found that to be an interesting choice to personify equivalent exchange. But before that, within this gateway, these doors closed and we saw that boy.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ed comes kind of back out of it and they're trying to, like that added a little wrinkle into his brain. He's like, why have I seen that boy? And then we kind of cut because, this was getting too interesting. We had to go back and see the agents back at the ministry or whatever. What is it called? Not the council.
Are you talking about the military?
Yeah, the military. Where they're all kind of hanging out and cleaning up, and then they speak of this new agent, Archer, who's coming into town, and I guess he's going to take over for Hughes. He sounded familiar, like I've heard that voice before, but I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm going to have to listen to his voice again, but he sounded very familiar. And I could probably look it up on IMDb, that thing that I was having trouble saying last episode, but I figured it out this time, and I said it, and it didn't sound bad. But I don't want to look it up. I'm going to figure it out because I like playing that game. Anyway, we go back to the boys, and Winry's kind of caring for the kid, and then they're kind of, were they locked away? Why were they locked away?
They were locked up so that they did not confront the boy while the teacher was gone to the island.
Yes, because as the teacher walked away after the little discussion, the husband made a very interesting comment as if they know about homunculi just a little too well. So Ed and Al are trying to figure out what they're going to do, and Al decides he's going to create a phone. An alchemy phone that reaches all the way down to where the boy is and Winry is at, and then they're going to ask a question, a very simple question, and that is, are there scars on the boy? And that's where it was like, oh shit. And we find out that the scars on the boy absolutely match the scars where would have been left on Ed, where his arm and his leg were. In fact, to even further reiterate, that fox that bit, this one insignificant moment that seems so insignificant in the last episode, you're like, oh shit, he got bit. Well, that's going to be rough. But no, it played in because the bite mark was on the arm of the boy. Case closed. They just tied it back around with insignificant moments. How they do it is beyond me. But that is proof positive that is Ed's arm.
And his leg.
And the boy runs away because it's like, oh shit, he's going to rip my arms off. And I really don't know what his plan is either, but he wants his arm and his leg back, and I don't blame him. But you know what? The auto mail is pretty awesome. Why wouldn't you just keep it? I mean, I guess if you could have it back. I mean, making love to a woman would probably be hard. If he's into that, he might be into dudes. I don't know. But yeah, what if his right is his primary?
Oh, Jesus. He is a child. Stop.
He is a 15-year-old boy who's exploring his body. So, as the boy runs away into the village or whatever, and Ed is taking haste, trying to get his Pud Pounder back, we see...
Jesus fucking Christ.
We see... I'm just having fun. We see that Sloth is lurking in the wings, watching them run away. And...
No.
Was that not Sloth?
No. First of all, Sloth is the woman, the secretary.
Oh, I was thinking, who's the one that eats everybody?
That
Gluttony.
is Gluttony.
Gluttony.
And
I'm
that
sorry.
was not any of the homunculi. That is a whole different character.
It looked like Gluttony, even though I called it Sloth.
No.
Well, God damn it. This show and their new characters all the time.
I mean, we've technically seen him, but just a glimpse of him. But we're going to get introduced to certain characters that we've seen, again, kind of a glimpse of in one of the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm. But then we're left with the teacher coming to this stone patio?
I mean, I guess you could think of it more as like an altar.
Yeah, that works. And something has clearly crawled out of said altar. Mm-hmm. Because there's a big, it looks like just a big tail sand mark.
Yeah, there's a very long sand mark.
Yeah. So it could have been a snake. Well, there should have been feet there. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, it's a big sand line going through the sand, going out to the beach or wherever. I don't know where she was facing. And that's where they leave us with the big mystery. Where's the big sand creature? And its big swinging sand tail.
You have no idea if this thing has a tail or not.
No, and I clearly didn't know that wasn't Gluttony, so I don't know anything.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I don't.
But no, the reason I say this is an emotional episode is because you finally see, like you said, like the full extent of what Edward had to go through to get his brother back. Mm-hmm. And just the shot of when, he's getting the armor and after he draws a circle and he starts doing the transmutation circles on his arms and then on his heart. And he's saying, take my arms, take my heart, take whatever you need. Just give me back my brother. And it always hurts me in the feels.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I guess I just didn't pay attention to his words.
Damn.
Which is on me. Which is on me. I saw what he was doing. He was just like, here, I want my brother back. I heard that part. It was good to see everything because we'd only heard about it. We've just seen glimpses. So now we actually got a full picture of what actually went down. And boy, their mom was scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
It's really fucked up.
But that's all I got on this episode. I don't really know what else to say about it. It was a good episode. It's building, it's putting the building blocks together, setting things up for new characters. We had 5 new characters we're being introduced to in this episode. And a bunch of people we don't even know who are just always there. The military is who I'm talking about. I don't know any of their names.
Well, maybe you'll learn them by the end of the show.
Perhaps.
All right. Well, since that's all you have to say, why don't you lead us out?
Do you want me to? Because I went on a rant last time. I went way off topic. I went tangent style. I can't help it. I'm tired.
Stay focused.
What are we talking about? Yeah. Hey, if you want to tell people to listen to the show, tell them they can listen anywhere they listen to their podcast, whether it be Spotify or Apple. If you like listening on Apple, Good Pods is pretty good, and that's what I hear. Maybe, or maybe they're not. Who knows? They give us rankings sometimes. You can, if you're going to listen on Spotify or Apple, could you just hit that little 5-star button and just that'd be so great if you could. And maybe leave a review. You can just say whatever if you want. You can just be like, anime, cool, and that'll work. We'll read it out on the show with your name if you do such a thing. I promise. I just have to find out about it wherever you do it. And you can answer questions and polls that we sometimes post on those on Spotify. They have that thing. It's a pretty neat little gadget, I suppose. And they finally gave us a tab where we know when people are answering stuff, so I can finally keep up with it. That's about time, you know. I had to dig to do that. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/pencilpaperproductions. These links are all down below. I shouldn't have to read them to you if you really want to do that. Chuck in a buck and listen to episodes a week early. You can go listen on YouTube if you prefer. Pencil Paper Productions, YouTube, that's a thing. There's an thing now if you want to do it that way for some reason, because YouTube wasn't unoriginal before. And we did Patreon. Mm-hmm. You know what? Just if you want to follow everything, website, pencilpaperproductions.com/inspired-weeaboo.
Just so you know, he gave a thumbs up.
Yeah, I knew you could hear it. I put it right next to the microphone.
Yes, right next to the microphone. All right, my little weebs. Until next time.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.